A day after a Chinese soldier was made the Olympic torch bearer, India has announced a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. This means that India will not send officials to the Games. However, the country will still be sending its athletes to compete. In response to WION's question on China politicizing the Olympic Games, this is what the Indian Ministry of External Affairs had to say.
It is indeed regrettable that the Chinese side has chosen to politicize an event like the Olympics. I wish to inform that our chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of India in Beijing will not be attending the opening or the closing ceremony of the Beijing 22 Winter Olympics.
Yesterday, remember, Chi Fabao was China's torch bearer for the Olympic torch relay. Who exactly is he? He is a People's Liberation Army or PLA regiment commander, one who apparently sustained a head injury during the clashes in Galwan. China's prime propaganda machine, the Global Times, even called him the Galwan Valley border clash hero. This is the same China that's denied casualties for days, remember, but now they want to honor a Galwan commander, trying to use a ceremony highlighting the Olympic spirit to provoke India. This comes as the two countries are trying to resolve the crisis diplomatically. So far, 14 rounds of talks have been held between New Delhi and Beijing. However, both sides have failed to make any headway in the talks. Soldiers of India and China clashed in 2020, resulting in the loss of several lives on both sides. The clashes erupted after the unprovoked aggression by Chinese troops in Galwan Valley. It's been nearly 2 years since the incident. Currently, there has been disengagement at many flashpoints, but tensions continue to simmer between the two countries. India is not the only country to announce a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Olympics. It joins several other countries like the US, the UK, Canada and Australia. The Japanese government has also said that it will not be sending a delegation to the Games. By the end of January, several other European countries also joined the diplomatic boycott, including Estonia, Latvia, Sweden, the Netherlands and Denmark. Let's get in further details now from our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who's joining us on the broadcast from New Delhi. Siddhant, tell us more about the response given out by the Indian Ministry of External Affairs to that question posed by WION.
Well, a strong message by New Delhi that its top diplomat, the CDA, will not be present at the opening and closing both ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. We know that this is happening in the backdrop of the provocations by the Chinese, especially as you pointed out, the PLA commander being the torch bearer. But let's understand India's policy as of now. In November of last year, the Russia, India, China foreign ministers meeting happened, and in the joint statement, India had affirmed that it will not boycott and it will be present there at the Olympics. In fact, even now, Indian athlete, there is only one Indian athlete who has qualified, will be present at the Olympics. But we know that this was premised on the fact that there will be no politicization of the Winter Olympics. And now we saw the Chinese side glorifying the commander who was responsible for the aggression in 2020, the Galwan aggression, in which India lost 20 of its soldiers. China has only confirmed so far 4 of its soldiers dying, but there are now reports emerging that it might have lost more than 4. The numbers can go as high as 44, as claimed by the Chinese, by the Russian media. So now this decision is a message that till the time the Chinese side does not stop provocation, India will take firm and strong steps. In fact, the state broadcaster of India will also not be broadcasting the opening and the closing of the ceremony. So the picture is clear that when tomorrow the ceremony starts in Beijing, all the newspapers, all the headlines will be buzzing with the firm decision taken by New Delhi.
Absolutely, Siddhant. Also tell us about the stance that's been taken when it comes to other countries and the criticism that's come in over that report that honored the Galwan clash hero, and the reaction that's come in from India on that front as well.
Well, taking your second question first, India called that decision or what's happening when it comes to the Chinese propaganda machinery as regrettable. Now, as far as what the other countries are doing, this is perhaps the most controversial Olympics happening in the recent times. The last time such kind of boycotts have happened, it is in the early 80s when the world was divided into two major blocs, one of course led by USSR and then of course one led by the United States. And now this is happening. By and large, the West is boycotting it. Japan is not sending any top-level delegation. In fact, from the Indian side as well, while India had affirmed last year that it's not going to boycott, India was not sending any top-level political leaders because remember, for China, this is an occasion to show normalcy in the country. Remember, the COVID virus was first detected in China's Wuhan, and China has been indulging in PR since then, trying to downplay it, not coming with the details. So China's allies and partners are, of course, attending as a show of solidarity with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Russian President Vladimir Putin will be there, who, of course, has been cornered by the West. The Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan will be present. The 5 Central Asian leaders, all of them will be present. Leaders from Saudi Arabia, Qatar and UAE, along with countries like Luxembourg, Poland, they will also be present at the opening ceremony. But by and large, this has divided the world into those who stand with China and those who don't. And largely, if we look at how China treats countries, either China treats countries as a junior partner, or as someone who needs to be dealt with in a very aggressive manner.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.